What we need is not more medication, but more education, because the best prescription is knowledge. This is Exposé coming to you live from Lagos, Nigeria, every Monday on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook simultaneously. I'm your regular host, Tony Akinyemi. Don't forget, what we need is not more medication, but more education, because the best prescription is knowledge. Hello and welcome to Exposé with Tony Akinyemi. We have been dealing with defeating diabetes, and I have in the studio with me the co-author of the book, Defeating Diabetes, Dr. Melody Akinyemi. Both of us co-authored the book, and we've been tearing it apart, in bits and pieces, in bite sizes, so that you can follow along, implement, and then share your experiences and testimonies with us. We have looked at the first 2 points on our 10-point agenda. We have looked at the issue of rethinking your beliefs, which we call neuroprogramming. We have looked at working on your diet, which is the bedrock of the 10-point agenda. If you get that foundational element solidly laid, you're on top of your game. I tell folks that diabetes is not a big deal, if only you are ready to commit to doing the right thing. If you know what to do and you do it right, it will be a thing of the past. Your blood sugar can crash and come to the normal range. You can prevent all the complications that accompany unattended diabetes, particularly diabetes type 2. So today we are continuing with steps 3 and 4, maybe 5 on our 10-point agenda. So Dr. Melody Akinyemi is here to do justice with me on this subject. So we are moving on to tip number 3 or point number 3 on our 10-point agenda. Don't forget, what we need is not more medication, but more education. And here we have Diabetes 101, education for you. Now, if your friends and colleagues and neighbors have not been joining us, this is the right time to call them to join us on Exposé. Another wonderful episode is here. This takes place every Monday at 8 p.m. Nigerian time. You can also watch all past episodes and update yourself if you have missed any one of them. And then, of course, you can also subscribe to our channel. Tell your friends to subscribe to our channel. And when you finish watching it today, just share the link, share the video with your friends, your colleagues, your neighbors, and anybody you know who is dealing with diabetes, and they will thank you for it, because we will win the battle against diabetes in the world. We can prevent all the needless deaths happening all over the world, because diabetes is a menace and is claiming lives, is maiming people. It's claiming lives and maiming people, and we want to stop that. That's why we're doing this thorough education on how to defeat diabetes. So we're moving on to tip number 3 today on our 10-point agenda, and we call that keep moving. Keep moving. Now, that talks about physical activity. That talks about exercise. Now, exercise plays a very important role in helping you to manage your blood sugar. And so today, Dr. Melody, we're talking about exercise as a critical factor in the reversal and probably the prevention of diabetes. Your take? Right.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me again today on Exposé. So on exercise, what's my take on exercise? I think everybody should be exercising.
Whether diabetic or not
diabetic. So while we exercise our brains by reading and interacting,
right.
we need to exercise our muscles and our bones and our joints. Very important, if not for anything, but for the fact that it makes up a large chunk of who we are. I mean, if you remove your hands, you remove your legs, you remove all the muscles in your abdomen and all around your body, what are you left with? Intestine and stomach. Yeah, so we need to exercise. And as we talked about it in one of the earlier episodes, talked about how exercise is actually one of the cheats you can use to mop up glucose. So let's look at different types of exercise and why it's important to incorporate the different types of exercise. So we have 3 basic classes or types of exercise that you can do. We have the cardio exercises. Under cardio, I will put things like aerobics, high intensity interval training, things like that, brisk walking, jumping, stepping up, climbing the stairs and down, anything that just keeps your blood pumping and makes you sweat and raises your heartbeat.
Right.
Swimming, cycling, all
whether
of that
stationary or dynamic.
Yes, all of that come under cardio exercises.
Right.
And the importance of cardio exercise helps you to mop up quite rapidly or quickly, helps you to mop up glucose
in the blood.
In the blood, yes.
Okay.
It also helps you with your stress hormones.
Okay.
So the idea is, we talked about the fight or flight mechanism where cortisol is pumped in, the stress hormone is pumped into your blood.
Right.
And the idea of that is for you to take action.
Right.
And most of the time, the action is to either fight physically or to run.
Right.
Which can be equated in some form to cardio exercises or aerobic exercise. So if you keep engaging regularly or intermittently in cardio exercises, aerobics exercises, you are also helping to mop up those stress hormones. Then I always remind people that don't forget that the heart is also a muscular structure and it needs to be exercised the way your hands and your legs need to be exercised.
Right.
So don't just carry weights, also help your heart to carry weights.
Right. Tone
so that it can be toned properly and then it's not beating helplessly to meet up with demands. That's why athletes tend to have a lower resting pulse rate because their heart muscles are well toned, very strong and bulky. It doesn't need to beat 60 times
in a minute.
It can beat 40 times in a minute and achieve the exact
That's your own beating 80 times.
So that is one advantage of cardio exercise. The next will be resistance training or strength training or weight training. Now, this is very important in helping you to build your muscle bulk. Sedentary living, not the law of use and disuse. If you use your muscles, you build up the bulk. If you don't use it, they start to atrophy or waste away, you lose it. And you need the muscle bulk for you to maintain your figure, for you to be active,
even your
for
strength.
You to be strong enough to do things, for you to even mop up the glucose. Because even if you are trying to run and all, it's still the muscles that help you to mop up
the glucose.
So someone who has more muscle bulk is likely to mop up glucose faster than someone who has
only fat and water.
Yes, very little muscle bulk. It also helps you to burn calories more effectively and raises your basal metabolic rate. So even if I am seated and I'm tapping my leg, if my muscle bulk is much more than someone next to me who probably walked back and forth, I might just lift my leg and tap my leg for a few minutes and I've burnt more calories than the person that walked back and forth because I have more muscle bulk than that person.
So the goal in the strength exercises is to actually build muscles,
up your muscles, yes.
Because weight can be made up of essential components, muscle, bones, fat, water.
Yes.
Right. So you want the muscle components of your weight to go up and the fat component to go down.
Yes.
Right.
Another thing about building muscle, it helps you to stabilize your joints. Many people that have arthritis.
Right.
So if the joints are not jumping all over the place, you're less likely to have joint injuries, joint pains.
Right.
You're less likely to exert a lot of pressure on your joints when you have to move or carry objects. And also, yes, muscle bulk is very important. And then the last will be stretching exercises, which focuses on your flexibility, your joints. It also helps with the muscles, to stretch
expand and
expand properly. So because your muscles are not meant to just contract. They're meant to expand and contract. And another thing with stretch exercises is they also help your body to calm down. So ideally, if you want to engage in any form of exercise routine, you start with a bit of warm-up stretches and then a bit of cool-off stretches, so that after you work the muscles, you're also helping the muscles to relax back, no issues, reduces injuries, helps you to stay flexible.
It improves range of motion.
Yes,
and all
also
of that.
improves circulation and other things. So these are the three major classes of exercises, and you should engage in those classes regularly. The only other tip I will add is if you're trying to lose weight, you might want to alternate resistance training and HIIT, which is high intensity interval training. It helps you to burn more calories than straightforward aerobics within a short period of time. So you can do maybe Monday resistance training, Tuesday HIIT, Wednesday resistance training, Thursday pure cardio, Friday resistance training, then Saturday you can do your stretches, full-blown stretches and aerobics and other things.
Now, can you elaborate more on HIIT, high intensity interval training, so that people understand what is involved in that kind of exercise, right?
So with HIIT, we have different exercise intensities depending on the strain it puts on you when you engage in it. So we have low intensity training, we have moderate intensity training, we have high intensity training. High intensity training pushes you to
your limits, so to speak.
Yes.
Yeah.
But in HIIT, high intensity interval training, you are doing it for short bursts.
Short period. You burst.
So you
high
can
intensity and then
they can probably say a typical example would be maybe I want to go on a run for 30 minutes. I don't have 30 minutes, but I want to achieve something similar to what will have happened.
You will have achieved in
so
30
my regular 30 minutes jog will probably be moderate intensity for me because it's something that I can manage through for 30 minutes without having too much issues. But I can now decide, okay, instead of jogging on plain ground, why not jog uphill at a faster rate and run. So I do it for like 2 minutes and then take a pause.
2 minutes and then you rest.
You pause again. Pause for like 2-3 minutes. I do another burst of 2 minutes again, and then I pause. So that is interval.
High intensity interval training. Exactly. I want people to get that. Now, so once you do all those classes of exercises, the aerobics, the flexibility, the strength or weight bearing, muscle building type of exercise, you combine all the three. Maybe some people will need a coach, a trainer to start with, so they can take them through the various types.
Of course.
So they master it after you have, used a trainer, a fitness coach to put you through, and you have mastered it and understood it well. Then you can now begin to do it on your own at home. It's always very important. Now, we have a Healthy Living newsletter number 10. We do these quarterly Healthy Living newsletters. The one that is volume 10 is actually based on exercises. So I encourage you to get a copy and read that. I think it's also a chapter in my book, How to Regain and Retain Your Health, which is available on Amazon.com, by the way. You can also find it on familabooks.com. How to Regain and Retain Your Health. And you can find physical copies at Havila in Ikeja for those who are in Lagos, or at TSF stores at Abule Onibagbo in our church bookshop. And then, of course, I have done a series of episodes on the value of exercise. You can watch past episodes on Facebook and YouTube, several episodes on the value of exercise. If you get to go through all of those, it will bring you up to date on how exercise improves your health, and now particularly in relation to your blood sugar management. So we will leave it at that as far as exercise is concerned. And that is tip number 3 on our 10-point agenda. If you want to prevent diabetes or you want to reverse diabetes, you must be ready to get moving.
Before we move on to the next, I just want to quickly add on exercise that we said keep moving. So it is not just the 1 hour you spend exercising at the gym or your house that is enough for you to keep moving. Because some people say I go to the gym every day, but the rest of the day you're seated. No.
I mean,
you have to actually keep
moving throughout the day.
Throughout the day.
About 10,000 steps.
Yes, at least
in a day.
That's the minimum.
Yeah, 10,000 steps.
And then it's not like you do the 10,000. So because people say I walked around my estate 10,000. I've heard also.
From morning till evening.
You spread it out through the day. I tell them at work, I keep shouting it at work. Every 30 minutes to 1 hour, stand up, walk around
for 5 minutes, thereabouts.
Say hello to that person. They encourage you to always stand up and escort your client out, bring your client, just to get you to stand up on the desk.
It's a way, it's like killing 2 birds with one stone, in the sense that you are getting the physical movement you need for your exercise. You are also showing courtesy
to other people,
to your friends, your colleagues,
even if your colleague at work, they come to ask you for something, you stand up and escort.
And then
just move. You want to take water, drop your bottle somewhere far away. So that you have to stand up
to go there to pick it up. Right.
Bottle, yes.
Now, all this idea of holding the remote control in front of television, we call that couch potato. That doesn't help at all. And some people think it's a life of affluence when they sit down in the house, particularly in Nigeria. The very affluent, rich people, they have domestic servants all over the place. They sit down, tetere bundukwosly. in one location, and they say, Johnson, bring me a glass of water. Elizabeth, bring me a cup of coffee. That one, go get me my so. And they are all over the place. I mean, other people are running around for them. They are just seated. That is not a good idea. Keep moving and keep moving. We tell people, no waiting, no stopping, no parking, no loitering, keep moving. That's the key. All right, we're going to go on a short break. And when we come back, we will talk about our tip number 4 on our 10-point agenda. Don't forget, number 1 is neuroprogramming. Rethink your beliefs. Number 2, work on your diet. Know what you must not eat or drink, and know what is good for you to eat and drink. And then the time you should be eating them and the time you should not be eating. All right? And then number 3, exercise. Keep moving. And when we come back, we'll take number 4. Don't forget, what you need is not more medication, but more education. For the best prescription is knowledge. Actually reverse diabetes. When you understand diabetes, you understand what it is, you understand how it happens, the risk factors, the causes, and the complications that it can give rise to. Those who already have it, to start putting measures in place to reverse it, or at the very least to control it. My daughter is a medical doctor and I am a nutritionist. We co-authored Defeating Diabetes Naturally. You'll find it on Amazon.com, and you can also buy hard copies from our bookshop, the Shepherd Stores Limited, on number 18 Shogunde Street, Abule Onibagbo, Ikeja, Lagos, Nigeria. Welcome back. This is Exposé with Tony Akinyemi, brought to you by the Shepherd's Flock International Church. And don't forget that the Shepherd's Flock International Church is a ministry that focuses on holiness, health, and high success. We are a family church, and our Sunday services are usually packed. And the presence of God is so real and tangible. Miracles happen, healings happen, restorations and encounters with God. There are experiences we have when we gather together to worship God or to pray or to study His Word, and that has been a lifelong experience for us. Now, if you live in Lagos or you are visiting in Lagos, our church, the headquarters is in Ikeja, and we have parishes all over the state, and we have in other states of Nigeria, as well as the United Kingdom. Now, go on our website, tsfchurch.com, and locate any church that you can visit, the Shepherd's Flock International Church, and come fellowship with us, and God will do you good. Now, let's come back to defeating diabetes. Step number 4 on our 10-point agenda is stress management, and we tag that, take it easy. Learn to take it easy, because stress contributes to, it can also help to aggravate diabetes. So take it easy. Now, you want to take on that and talk about how to manage our stress and then the different components of stress management, right?
Well, okay, so stress management. There are different things that contribute to stress. We have different stressors. We have chronic stressors. We have the regular stressors, the ones that are normal to life. For example, the fact that I have to wake up, I have to go to work, I have to prepare my meal. Yeah. Those are good stresses. Yeah. From time to time, life throws challenges at you, which are not necessarily good, but are not, if well handled, would not pose a problem. So somebody loses their job, for example, that's the form of stressor.
Right.
If I handle that situation properly, it will not have so much of an adverse effect on me. So person A loses his job, can sink into depression, start thinking and worrying about how he doesn't have money and stuff. While person B decides, okay, so I've lost this job.
An opportunity for me to become an entrepreneur.
Okay, I've always wanted to study that course. Why not just go back to school and study? So it depends on how you handle such life challenges. But then there are daily routines, things that we do that we do not handle well or we do not manage well and can pose a lot of stress on us. For example, I told someone that I have a rule at work. I close at 5, and after 5 o'clock, my official phone is off. Everybody understands it. And so everybody knows that if you have an assignment for me to do, you give it to me before 5 o'clock. Once it's 5 o'clock, the end. I'm done with that chapter for the day. Of course, there are very rare exceptions where you have to carry over work. But I tell people, as a matter of principle, you should not carry over your work from your office to your house. So people say, I'm rushing home, but they're rushing home to go and continue
the work that they
started at home. And then you find them on their laptop till 12 a.m., 1 a.m., 2 a.m., still preparing for that meeting tomorrow.
Yeah.
So those are some of the things that, bad things that we do. It affects your sleep. It affects your psyche. You're stressing your brain. You're stressing your body. You're stressing the people around you, your relationships, and other things. So I think the first thing we need to address when it comes to stress is ensuring that everybody gets adequate sleep. Of course, there's the general sleep for 6 to 8 hours. But nowadays, they are beginning to say that for some people, they might actually require much more hours than that.
Like what categories of people?
Of course, younger people, that is
babies, that's a given.
That's a given. But sometimes, some people's
state of health
requires up to 10
more time
hours
to kind of
recuperate, because your body actually rejuvenates itself
while you're sleeping.
So if you are actually particularly ill, you might want to take a bit more time to sleep.
Okay.
And how you know that you've actually slept well is when you wake up and you are feeling a burst of energy, ready to face the day.
Right.
If you wake up and you have to give yourself a 15-minute lecture on why you should stand up from your bed, or you keep snoozing your alarm,
and then you need to take a cup of coffee.
To wake up. You should
then
check
you're not fully rested. Yeah.
You might need to take a break from what you're doing.
Yeah. Somebody recently, I told her, look, you don't need medications, you don't need all this other. I said, what you need is a 2-week break. Just sleep, eat, wake up, sleep, eat, relax, go to the sauna, take a massage, and all of that. And, bust all the build-up of stress and clear your head, clear your mind. And before you know it, you're back on track. Right.
Very, very important, yes. So in this part of the world, we are very terrible with taking breaks. Yeah. Terrible.
Sometimes we are made to feel guilty that we are taking a break, as if you are lazy.
Yes.
I mean,
if a typical person my age says, I want to go on a vacation,
you look at you and say,
what have you done in life?
Meanwhile, that's very, very important. In going for the long haul.
Yes. Very important. And then another thing is, you take a break from work, you actually applied for a leave, you went on the leave, but you've now outlined a host of events
to do during the vacation. And you come back exhausted, tired,
even worse off than when you went on.
Right. I found that leave. Sometimes, you see, when you even make long trips, you travel and you fly 29 hours to go. And you actually maybe have some fun experiences, relaxed and refreshed. And then you fly 29 hours back. Before you come back, all the refreshing you got, you burnt it. You come back tired. 3 days, you are jet lagged. Before you go to work, no work done at the end of the day.
So we need to check all of these. We need to be, I think the word is to be intentional about taking breaks. So we've talked about the daily rest. We've talked about periodic rest. Of course, there's the weekly rest. Dedicate 1 day in a week where it is dedicated to resting. Just slow down all your activities. Stay in bed a bit longer. You might not be sleeping, but you might just be relaxed, meditating on the Word of God, thinking through the past week, evaluating, self-auditing. Spend time with people that make you happy, your loved ones. If you're married, your spouse. If you have children, your children. If you have friends, you can just spend the day with your friends, not necessarily doing anything too physical, but just enjoying each other's company. And that point of stress for a lot of people are their relationships. Bad relationships. Very, very
all
important.
kinds of, sometimes up to verbal abuses and even physical abuses and what have you.
So
emotional assault.
A lot of
and all of that. That wears people out, and that can begin to impact on their health.
On their health,
including diabetes. Right, because adrenaline, we learn, suppresses the release of insulin. So if you have a lot of stress hormones circulating in your body, even your pancreas says, sorry, I take a break. When you sort yourself out, let me know. You know? All right. So. By the way, we have written a newsletter on stress management, Healthy Living newsletter number 16 on stress management. I think it's also chapter 12 in my book, How to Regain and Retain Your Health. You can also obtain these ones at our TSS bookshop, the Shepherd stores, and then on Amazon.com as well. How to Regain and Retain Your Health. And that helps you in managing your stress. And sometimes you may need counseling. You may need support from professionals.
A lot of times.
Do not hesitate to take advantage of professional service. You can see a clinical psychologist. You can see a pastor, a minister of religion who is well-versed in that area, who can help you, walk you through your issues. You don't just sweep them under the carpet. And then prayer also does a great job in relieving tension and stress in the body. And sometimes you can talk to some, medical doctors who are also versed in that, particularly those who are psychiatrists and what have you, who are trained in helping you walk through all of that. We don't really favor chemical remedies as much as we do a lot of counseling, digging into it to know precisely what are your stressors and how best to deflate them and deal with them. That's better than just swallowing chemicals to numb yourself, your consciousness to some of these things. So take it easy is very, very important in helping you to either prevent diabetes or to recover from diabetes. Now, I don't want us to go to the next step because we won't be able to finish it today. We need a whole episode maybe to deal with that. And that is the issue of tip number 5, which is weight management. Because those who are obese and who are overweight, they have to do something about it if they want to be able to reverse their diabetes. But we're not going to go into that. So I want us to cap this up today and just deal with these two, the exercise aspect and the stress management aspect. Now, if you can add these two layers to the earlier two we have shared, I want this to really sink in. I don't want you to forget. Number 1, rethink your beliefs. Number 2, work on your diet. Number 3, start exercises. And number 4, manage your stress. Learn how to manage different types of stressors in our lives, okay? Environmental stressors, stress events, and stress environments. And once you manage those very well, you're on top of your game. You see, your body chemistry, all your systems will start adjusting. They will start getting rewired and reprogrammed. And before you know it, everything starts falling in place and the lines begin to fall in pleasant places for you. Your systems are delivering optimally. Nothing is underperforming. Nothing is overperforming. Everything is coming back to homeostasis. Everything is coming back to balance. And even you yourself will begin to enjoy your life much better when you see your body chemistry, your physiology, and all the workings, your biology, everything gets back in shape and back in order. Your cholesterol starts normalizing as well. Those are some of the side benefits. Your blood sugar is normalizing. Your blood pressure is normalizing. And then you are able to gradually begin to wean yourself from your medications. First, the doses begin to get reduced to lower doses. And ultimately, you'll be able to go off. And then you free yourself from the side effects that can also arise from the use of those medications long term. Because we have mentioned that certain medications actually are diabetogenic. And if you can get yourself off of them, that means that you don't have to pay the price of the side effects that will accompany them. So it's a whole total package and it's beautiful at the end of the day. Don't forget that we have said, if you have questions on diabetes in particular, whether things that we have talked about or things we are yet to talk about or things that we may not talk about regarding this subject, just post the question in the chat room or send an email to contact@tsfchurch.com. Contact@tsft, they call that tango. You see it? S is for Saturday and F is for Friday. So Tuesday, Saturday and Friday. TSF Church.com. Contact at tsfchurch.com. Send your questions there. We will collate all the questions. We will dedicate one whole episode to tackle all the questions one by one. By the time we are done with this series, I don't expect anybody to remain diabetic or to be worried about diabetes or to be concerned or to be taken down by diabetes. And in case there are those who have been diabetic for years and they have developed certain complications, whether it is neurological damage, peripheral neuropathy, or it is diabetic retinopathy that has affected their eyes, or glaucoma has built up, or even cataract is beginning to develop, or something that has to do with kidney impairment, or blood vessel damage, or you name it, or fungal infections and leg ulcers that will not heal, and wounds that will not heal, whatever it is, whatever complication has been brought on by diabetes, long-term diabetes, or the medications you are using to treat diabetes, we're going to spend time to look at each one of those complications and how to address them and reverse them, hopefully, for the most part. Of course, like I said, there is no human remedy or therapy out there that can achieve 100% success rate, but there is a good chance that all of those complications can still be reversed 80 to 90% of the time. And I hope you'll be among the 80 to 90% who have a testimony at the end of the day to say, I used to be diabetic, I'm no longer diabetic, or diabetes damaged my kidneys, now my kidney function has moved from 30% to 80% or to 90% or thereabout, and then I had numbness, I had tingling due to peripheral neuropathy, and that is now a thing of the past. We show you step by step, line upon line, how to get these things done. And they are things that you have to commit to, and as you commit to them, I believe that you begin to have testimonies to share, you have good results to show. Now, don't forget to share this video with your friends, with your colleagues, with your family members, with your relatives, and with your enemies, so that they can become your friends. Because when you help them, they will no longer hate you. They will begin to want to be your friends, to get more benefits from you. And if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please go ahead and click on the subscribe button. Also, give us a thumbs up right there. And on Facebook, like us on Facebook. And we will come with, another episode, same time, same platform, next week, Monday, 8 p.m. Nigerian time. What we need is not more medication, but more education. For the best prescription is knowledge. We appreciate you for your time. If today is your first time of joining us, we thank you for joining us. And those who are veterans, who have always been with us, we also thank you. Please tell your friends, tell your neighbors to always keep a date with us. Actually reverse diabetes. When you understand diabetes, you understand what it is, you understand how it happens, the risk factors, the causes, and the complications that it can give rise to. Those who already have it, to start putting measures in place to reverse it, or at the very least, to control it. My daughter is a medical doctor and I am a nutritionist. We co-authored Defeating Diabetes Naturally. You'll find it on Amazon.com, and you can also buy hard copies from our bookshop, the Shepherd Stores Limited, on number 18 Shogunde Street, Abule Onibagbo, Ikeja, Lagos, Nigeria.